Why My Business Works, the podcast for creative business owners building their own way. We talk to interior designers and architects running firms of all shapes, sizes, ages, origins, and philosophies as we set out to show that there is no prescription for success, whatever that means, and business is both an art and a science. No one else has a business exactly like yours. I'm Megan Dolly, strategist, CFO, and your hostess. Today, I am joined by Gala Magrina. Gala is a holistic interior designer, a speaker, and a podcast host. I have sent your interview with Hassani to a ton of people. Gala's passion, not just for the industry, but for people, shines through. She has a gentle way of providing opportunities for introspection with a side of self-love. And I am so excited to see where this conversation goes. Welcome, Gala.
Thank you. That's a great welcoming. I feel very seen with that introduction. Thank you.
Oh, I think you and I both have a full philosophical.
Yeah.
There's something we see. I
Yeah.
wish the world could see.
Yes.
Where you speak in your podcast, I'm interested to listen to how this works with your clients, how this comes out.
Should we start there?
One thing I really want to know. I'm going to put a pin in that and start with the data. Let's start with the
Okay.
data.
Yep.
How long have you been in business for interior design?
I opened a design and production agency in 2008. We started getting more interior design projects around 2016. It was like, you designed our pop-up shop. Can you do our retail space, our fashion showroom? Can you do my apartment? I began to realize this is more fulfilling than designing a beautiful event for a night. In 2018, I was very intentional with shifting all my marketing dollars towards interior design, but it was still considered a design and production agency. COVID came. Nobody was doing events. The universe whispers and you need to hear the whisper or it's going to drag you. I listen to the whispers. I don't close down M Crown Productions now and officially launch Gala Magrina Design. I'm never going to do it because of financial reasons. The event and design company made a lot of money on the event side and it was like rebuilding a new business. I did it. So I would say 2020 onwards, so it has been full on interior design.
That's awesome. I got to write this down. Heinz came with. Okay. What does your staff look like in terms of employees versus contractors, part-time, full-time?
I have a design and production manager. She started as a project manager 13 years ago. She is still with me. So she's full-time. And then I have a procurement person that's part-time that is amazing. She's been with me now for 4 years and just handles like all the ordering, logistics, all of that. When I first started, I did everything. And I think there's something really powerful in that because you get to know your business inside and out, from QuickBooks to finances to placing orders, receiving. So when you grow and hire people, you know what they're doing, you know how to coach them to do better. Once you reach that point financially and leadership wise to delegate, it's better to have one person focused on what they do best, especially if you're servicing clients versus one person trying to do it all. My girls, all women, are better than me at what they do, and that's what I want. Yeah.
Absolutely. Sometimes they hire for the parts they know. They're stuck with the stuff they don't want.
Yeah.
And those procurement people are worth their weight in gold.
Candace is amazing. She's awesome. Yeah. Shout out to
project size range, whether you want to talk square feet or money or whatever. Like, what's the smallest you go? And the
smallest would be a $50,000 furniture and decor budget. Biggest we've gone up into like a spend of 500,000 on furniture and decor. So we are ranging from, apartments in the city, which are small but very expensive, to 12,000 square feet homes. Worked with business coach Sean Lowe.
Okay.
He's amazing. He's very direct. He kicked my ass. I had reached a point where I was hitting a project budget ceiling. And to get to the next level, I needed to change how I was doing things. I worked with Terry from Interior Design Business Academy. When I made that decision in 2018, I want to start going more towards interior design. She got me to a certain level, but I was hitting a cap of the size projects we were getting. And I was like, all right, something has to shift. So I worked with Sean, and through the course of a year, he taught me, you have a niche, lean into it more than you are. I know it's scary. And when you are on a discovery call, you are the motherfucking, I hope I can curse, the motherfucking sun Right now, you're turning into the moon. You're turning yourself into a pretzel to accommodate what the client wants. You have a very distinct way of working, a very distinct point of view in terms of how spaces affect you. You're not a Walmart. You really need 6 clients a year to make your profit. Put the gauntlet down and say, this is what we stand for. These are the clients we like to work for, and don't take anything less. I started to do that, as scary as it was. And now we are attracting the right clients. Scary, but it works.
It gave you permission to slow down and savor a project with the client and energy they feel.
Yes. In that discovery from the client's first word, I can be like, this is a good fit or this isn't. Just by the way they're talking about the space, what they want, the answers they're giving. It's been interesting to play with.
How many projects can you handle at once?
We got to hit certain numbers on larger projects. If we do even 4 a year, we're good. It last a year to a year and a half, So we'll fill in with like some smaller ones, but we can have probably 3 projects if they're at different stages. If
Makes
3
sense.
take off at the same time, it gets backlogged with me because I'm doing most of the design. Production wise, we can handle 3 at the same time.
Okay. Right. Preferred pricing model.
Yes, something that has been flat fee. I don't like paying people hourly. I'm not going to do that to my clients. One thing Sean helped me with was I started off flat fee and then 25% project management fee, markup on product. Sean said, no, do your flat design and production fee, pass along discounts, have it offset your fee, but be transparent. This dollar amount is the value I'm bringing. I don't want you to get value out of a markup on product. I want you to say, this is what our services are worth and be paid that amount. Pass on the discount to your client and that offsets your fee. At the end of the day, you're still arriving at the final number. You're being much more transparent with the client on your value and what it costs to work with you.
Right. At the end, the bottom of the income statement, that number is hopefully black.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways. I mean, hourly versus flat, and I have my own philosophy on
Yeah.
this. Even the discount is a contentious
Mhm.
topic. The difference here is you're coming at it from an angle of overall value, not of like, oh, here, I'm going to
Yeah.
be as little impact on your
Got it.
book as I can.
In my Beyond Spaces methodology, there's 12 different tools that we can use, or how I view the space if I had to break it down in a non-intuitive and a more technical way. And one of them is less is more. So if I am tied to a markup, that means that the more I sell, the more I make. I don't want that to be in the mix, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
We're going to get
there's
to
that
that
too.
philosophy too, right? Because nobody really cares for the environment and space as much as interior
Right.
designers, right? And it can be
Yeah.
difficult. I do better when you actually consume more is kind of an oxymoron.
Yep.
What is the niche?
Holistic interior design. Our spaces matter. They affect us. If you're just looking for beauty and function, I am not your girl. But if you want beauty and function and a space that supports your mind, body, and soul, let's keep talking.
I dig it. So it's very visionary from the beginning. There's a element that you're moving away from. Would you say there's something in the industry that picks at your soul that you're trying to change?
Absolutely. I think the interior design business started a very bourgeoisie service. Only the wealthy could afford it. If you look at the history of it, it's very sort of highbrow appearances. And I think that had its time. But now, with all the studies coming out saying we now have scientific proof of the ways in which our spaces affect us, if we are not tapping into that, and every single interior designer is not educated in that and delivering spaces that speak to that, it's doing a disservice to clients. And B, I also think that it's undermining our industry because beauty and function, very important, but also could technically be a little superficial. It's more powerful if every designer was designing for beauty and function and also for mind, body, and soul. Studies show that our environments affect our daily motivations, behaviors, lifestyle. Those in turn determine 80 to 90% of our health outcomes. There's doctors quoted saying the future of medicine is how we're designing our buildings. So by not tapping into that now and designing in that way, it's undermining how we affect people and what we can do,
Yeah,
in my
there
opinion.
Valid. Feels like a shift coming. The industry is like this, but it feels like this shift is a little bit different this time around. Like something's at the cusp. We have those grasping of, well, where is it? Where is it? And then there are
Mhm.
those that are going like, how do I find the people that are coming along? So do
Mhm.
you find a challenge in finding clients that buy into?
100%. With the shifts I've made on my website, social media, like Sean Lowe said, put your fucking foot on the pedal, Gala. If you were going 100, I want to see you at 200. So that's what I did, being the good student that I am. And so now, when clients, that first feeder is the website and social, when they had that discovery call, the majority already want what we're serving. Some don't. When I explain it, they're like, yes, sign me up. Some just look at me like I have three heads. That's fine. At the end of the day, one of the things I have in my notes on the discovery call is you want to find that person the best fit, even if it isn't you. And that's how I enter the call.
You end up with a lot of new friends at the end of a project.
I got a new phone. I put it on silent, but it's not silencing. I am so sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I didn't hear it. Zoom did a great job of
Okay.
put a snap there.
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
I'd imagine you end up with a lot of new friends at the end of a project.
Yeah, which for me, I'm very sort of perfect. We go really deep in our intake and everything, but I want to have that professional boundary. But then
Mhm.
at the end, when it's done, we can be friends. But during the project, I keep, professional boundaries. It can get gray with what we do.
Did you learn that the hard way?
No, that's been embedded in me. I've seen the crazy.
So I want to talk about your philosophy of the business side. As 20 years in accounting, more than God
People like
bless,
you that do what you
right?
do. God
I've
bless.
always had a thing that struck me wrong about the industry. It wasn't helpful in this
Yes.
pedestal of foreign language, and it wasn't helpful to the people who needed the help the most. So I've struggled for years. How do I say business is wrong while serving business?
Yes.
How did your philosophy start developing? When did you start looking around and going, huh, I
The
want,
holistic philosophy or
yeah, the holistic philosophy and approach to business side? That's probably two separate questions. Let's start with the holistic side. When did that?
sure. In 2018, the year that I decided to put more marketing, I was still doing design and production for events and stuff like that. When I was like, okay, I really want to begin shifting, it coincided with me learning Vedic meditation, taking a trip to India,
Mm.
and being sort of immersed in Vedic ancient Indian knowledge. And I had always been like curious and into philosophy and all that kind of stuff. And it really just shifted how I saw the world, how I saw energy. I would say it just gave me like a deeper view of the world and everyday life. How can I merge these two things of how I see the world, beauty, creativity, design with spirituality? When I say spirituality, I don't mean religion. I started with getting my feng shui certification. Then I got a course on holistic interior design. During COVID, I got my WELL certification, which is more technical for the Western world. Then I started a 2-year certification for which is ancient Indian architecture. Following curiosity, passion, and realizing there's a place to do these things. In the past 2 years, 2023 to the present moment, of sort of really getting clear about how I integrate all of this stuff into my work, coming up with my methodology, beginning to speak and teach courses and all of that. So it was a 7-year process to arrive where I am today. And I think that's important to share too, because everybody sees stuff on Instagram and assumes, oh, like this person's doing great or, whatever. And it took a
Yeah.
while to get here and refine the message and really get clear and educate, because I think so much about this is education. A lot of designers don't even know about wellness or holistic design. Imagine the average person. When I
And
explain it, it's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
do you see a lot of overlap between the and feng shui?
Yes and no. Certain aspects, yes. I was told by my Vastu professor that Vastu predates feng shui, that time is a human construct. Who knows if there's validity in that? Studying Vastu allowed me to realize that modern feng shui, I don't think is practiced, or the concept behind it, which is what I'm certified in. Is not entirely accurate. And actually, on season 2 of my podcast, I interview with Mina, who's a classical feng shui, and we get into that and the why behind that. And I think that's important.
Are you learning the more traditional part
It's
after
on the
that?
list. I think that's where it's at.
Okay, let's talk about the business philosophy you carry. Give me a taste and we'll start our conversation about that.
I think a lot of the work that I did with Sean Lowe about we are crafting spaces for people to live and work in. People spend 80 to 90% of their time indoors. Spaces affect people. There is value in what we do, and it needs to be priced accordingly. You can call that expensive, you can call it whatever you want, but you are getting every single penny and a worth of, what you're investing.
Hmm.
When people work with us, it's their forever home. How do you put a price on creating a home for the rest of their lives? It's hard to do, and there is a price tag. It's taking me a while to see it that way and not just be like, okay, this is how long it's going to take me to do, and this is the markup on product. That's like a very sort of, I want to say low grade way of looking at it, but I think again, devaluing what we're doing for people. It was like a traditional model that doesn't work, at
Yeah.
least for
And then
me.
with what you're paying your team and how you take care of.
I've always tried to be as generous as possible. When I had my design production agency, there was healthcare, 401k, huge bonuses. Beyond the financial, making employees feel special, listening to them, doing fun outings, being real, talking about real things. In our morning meetings on Mondays, we start off with one thing you did this weekend, and then rose and thorn, what you're most excited about, what you're proudest, questions that ground us in our humanity before we begin working. Because it's a fast-paced world. It's easy to come out of alignment and become inhuman. I'm very conscious of the humanity first, and then from there, great business is going to follow.
Did you find that it was easier to see your value once you had a team behind you?
In terms of the value we bring, it was understanding the impact spaces have on people, the self-work I've done, perfectionism, and stepping into my power. I would say those two things.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Your clients saw something in you, something in your work that inspired them. If she could do that for this, she could do this for me. What do you
Mhm.
think that was? Like yourself on
Oh,
it.
I just think they were like, this looks cool, and didn't know the difference. Designing a pop-up is very different than designing a retail brand identity of something. They probably didn't know the
Okay.
difference.
Too much credit in my imagination. Okay, so brag to me about your team.
Attention to detail and communication is next level. Jess has been with me 13 years, Candace 4. We're humans first and then kick-ass business women. A really yummy working environment. Jessica, I trained from the beginning. When I was looking for her role and when I had Crown Productions, I was in my morning meditation saying, please bring me somebody that's smarter and better than me. And I found that person. She's like my right hand, my work wife. She's awesome. Like it's just two peas in a pod at this point. We've worked together for so long. And Candace, same thing. Candace is a virtual assistant. I'm Spanish. My family's in Spain. On a call with her. She's an American living in Barcelona and married somebody in Barcelona, which is where my family's from. So I was like, this is happening for a reason.
There's a spotlight and angel
Yep.
singing. It's her.
Exactly. And I would say the common denominator between the three of us, and Megan, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but we all are hyper responsible and communicate very similarly. And what I found with past employees that were not a good fit was that they didn't have that immense sense of responsibility and didn't communicate in the same way I did. I didn't feel safe with them. That could be a shortcoming on my behalf of like, oh, I didn't differentiate myself enough to be okay. Or it could be a really good finding of, hey, you figured out what works for you when creating your team. So just find that person.
You realize
That,
the mistake.
well, I think to come to this conclusion of the type of hire I need to do happened 4 years ago.
Okay.
So that was 2021. And I'd been in business since 2008. So that took a while. And I think being a leader in the sense of being friendly and all of that, but also knowing when to be the boss. And that also took a while because of my people pleasing. So that's something
Yeah.
not too many people talk about. Bosses or leaders, when I get together with other leaders, there can be a lot of complaining about employees, also insecurities. Like, what do I do about this? A lot of that has to do with not wanting to mess up, but also not being comfortable being the bad person. Sometimes you have to be. Calling something out when it needs to be called out can be hard if you are close with your employees.
I hear that. She's one of my best friends now, but I call her my Valentine's present because she was hired as my assistant on Valentine's Day in
Mhm.
2000 something. I had to sit her down in my office and I was like, Melissa, I know that Jessica is really hard to work with, but you can't call her a bitch. When you do that, that makes me have to be on Jessica's side. And you know, I don't want to be. Honey, I believe women-owned businesses are going to be what saves the world because
Mm.
nobody
Oh,
knows their community. Nobody
yeah,
steps up to volunteer in their community like
yeah,
women who have a small business who are juggling a jillion things at a
yeah.
time.
Women, there's the divine feminine for a reason. And I
Amen.
think we're seeing a return to that, which is why the world's coming to an end because they're trying to fight it. Here we are.
Oh my gosh, we talk about this. Write about yourself.
What?
How cool are you?
Oh,
How did you get into speaking? How did you decide to start a podcast? What did you see that was needed?
so wanted to be an actress when I was younger. Studied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. I took improv at UCB. I graduated from film and television. So I wanted to be a director, actress, and then life took me in a different direction. This idea of wanting to be a performer is coming through in a public speaking podcast, hopefully a TV show. Full circle moment.
Sorry, my Sony camera just gave out on me, so we're gonna go ugly computer camera.
No worries.
Yeah, I'm just gonna check my audio. Okay, great. Have you found yourself in a moment of, I think I might be in trouble when it comes to business? Like, I tend to back myself into corners sometimes. Do you have
The distinct moment I remember of being freaked out was the first time we worked with a huge developer converting 3 rental apartments into a leasing center. We were bringing in an architect and doing drawings for the first time. I'm not trained, neither is my team. We took on this project to grow, to elevate, to fake it. So we had to work with an architect to do this floor plan. Well, the architect turned out to be crazy,
Mm.
as some architects tend to be. I remember being in the car and he said some crazy stuff that put us in a position of not being able to deliver the plans to this developer. It all worked out. But in that moment, I was like, what have I gotten ourselves into? That was in 2018. That would be the one moment where I had a freak out.
His name wasn't Rex, was it?
No,
I
I
was
don't
just
remember his name. I burned it out of my brain.
I was just talking to another design group for recording a podcast earlier, also from New York. Rex, crazy architect, turned out to be a serial killer.
Oh, wow. I don't know what happened to this
Not that crazy.
architect.
If you were to bring on a protege, most important thing, you want them to come away from working with you.
I think it'd be twofold. This deep understanding of how spaces affect people and how to use all of our tools to create the most ideal space for them, mind, body, and soul. And then on a business level, how to serve clients powerfully.
Been on this more spiritual journey the last 5 or 6 years,
Yeah.
and the hope I have for people is different. I really want you to see this because it's really cool. You see it.
Yeah. One of the things I've worked with my best friend and coach Hassani on episode 5 of season 2 is not everybody's here to evolve. Just because you are and want to get better does not mean everybody else does, and that's okay. Everybody has their soul contract. You can want better for people, but they have to want it for themselves. You have to stand by and meet people where they're at. That's been a big lesson.
I have sent that episode to so many designers. You got to listen to this. What a great conversation that was. Thanks for
That's
hanging
the
that. That was
beauty of
great.
Hassani. She's incredibly gifted, can explain things in a simple way. That's a gift. Yeah. Shout
Yeah.
out to Hassani.
Hassani, absolutely. You seem like a student constantly learning. What are you learning now?
I start my holistic interior design course for designers. I just opened registration yesterday. I take 10 students, updating the course. Global Wellness Institute does a fabulous wellness real estate report, 150 pages long, that came out a couple months ago. I'm deep into that. As the year goes by, I save newsletters, articles, all of that. Now I'm sifting through them, making sure the information I'm sharing is up to date. It's like the latest and greatest. In the near future, I really want to talk to Mina about classical feng shui, see if she would teach me some basics or how to go about that and recalibrate that aspect. Feng shui is such an important way of how I see spaces, and I'm grateful for it.
We'll pause here a minute because something tickled my brain and I want to find it.
Okay.
Is this your first foray into training your designers?
I did it last September, once a year for interior designers. I have one for the public, haven't taught yet. The interior designer one, this is the second year.
How'd that go the first time?
Amazing. The class is small. We had 8, it was all women, like-minded individuals. So it was amazing.
Who would you pick, your top 3?
The initial people behind biophilic design, neuro design, and neuro architecture, as far back as like the 60s and 70s, the pioneers in all of this, I owe a lot of gratitude. Present day designers, they do really cool stuff in spaces. Kelly Bahan, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Love her stuff. Flat Studio does cool commercial spaces, bringing in color, shapes, forms, and plants.
Closing item here.
Mhm.
Why does it work for you specifically?
If you're working in alignment with your soul and authenticity, everything else will fall into place.
That's a great place to stop. If you haven't yet, I highly recommend you find Gala's podcasts on YouTube or wherever you listen. You will feel like you've made a new friend. Thanks for listening to Why My Business Works. I hope you found ideas, perspectives that give you a boost and a shot of courage to do things your own way. I'm Megan Dolly, and I am rooting for you.